Let's do that live podcast thing. Welcome to Sleek Fleet OG Live. I'm Joe Giglio. It's not Joe Obvious. That's the Perm, Hayes Permar, the Rialto czar. Thanks again for hosting and taking care of us at the Sports Podcast Festival. I appreciate you, man.
I know the fans don't want it, but we could probably do like an hour recap of just the podcast festival. But no, it was awesome. Thank you guys for bringing a cool event to the Rialto, and it was very cool, a great night, a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of your listeners who are listening now came out, and it was just a great event.
So my parents went to the Sports Podcast Festival. My parents came here today to the Longleaf Swine. We're at the Longleaf Swine on the corner of Edenton in person. There's always parking on Edenton. Come check out our friends. True. It is the pre-tailgate.
Better parking on person.
I just had the brisket. The potato salad is currently my new favorite side. Big fan of their potato salad. It's not that. Sorry, I'll start fighting with you
salad.
now.
No.
It's not that
shitty
southern
potato
I'm
salad.
Out on that.
I don't like mayonnaise, so I don't like southern potato salad.
Okay,
it's a little more.
It's really good. It's really good.
Well, I was going to ask you, why are we here? Why do we not have Longleaf Swan to go? Because I know they catered before they had this brick and mortar. I was filling up Longleaf Swan for my Thanksgivings and other holidays. So I know they can do catering. Why are we not out at Carter Finley today? Eating Longleaf Swan live from.
Technically not allowed to broadcast from the premises. Now, we've gotten around that before thanks to our friends at Breeze Through. But, and I'm already doing a thing that OBS hates to do. But you know what?
He's not here
at the Rialto.
It's okay.
My parents went to that event too, and my dad doesn't like to drive at night. I said, no big deal. Sleek Fleet, sleek-fleet.com. Booked him a ride. I wasn't going home at the time that he wanted to go home, but Turner from Sleek Fleet came, picked him up right there, front door, Rialto service. I'm going to slide so I can sit and face you so you can see me a little bit, and I'll move my camera a little bit.
And I mean this respectfully, and in a good way. This is how good of an event it was. Neither you nor your dad should have driven home, right?
Right.
That's right. How good an event it was.
Your alcohol choices at the Rialto are off the charts. You had you had a great selection of the spritzer type things that I like. You had the right alcohols, liquors that I like. And I think there was like ear Q-tips and mouthwash and toothpicks in the green room. That was my first green room experience.
I was going to say bathroom. I was like, no, absolutely not.
That was my first green room
we
experience.
Do have a couple things.
So
yeah.
I was absolutely pumped by all that. But no, best thing that you can do, you can go to sleek-fleet.com. And of course, we cannot do this program without Copiers Plus. Do all your data and print management needs at copiers-plus.com. All right.
Here's where I'm going to take Obvious aside. Football's opening today. We got to start talking about it. We got to start talking about it.
All right. Let's start with Carolina. Because I feel like
can I get out of the way? Can we do an admission? I'm a guest. I'm a fill-in here.
Okay.
I'm subbing in.
Okay. And I'm gonna pump you up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. And in a way, I feel like I represent a certain amount of fan who even listens to this program. Obviously, if you listen to this program, you're a sports fan. But there's plenty of people who listen to this program to be informed. And it's like because they're not informing themselves otherwise, right? And I'm the same way. I listen to you guys to get my information. So we right now have the perfect. Joe Giglio can probably name you too deep on offense and defense for UNC, NC State. I mean, maybe Wake Forest even. I'll go there to play us tonight.
Yeah. That's my hoops. I got my smooth on
ECU,
today.
You're paying money to ECU, so I know you know who they're,
Yeah.
Hayes Permar, we could play a game. I'm not going to make you do it. Can you name, 5 players from this team? And I will fail. But I'll be able to represent vibes and tell you what fan bases are feeling going in here.
All right. So
don't ask me what actually, you can ask me what I think Carolina's going to do this year, and I'm going to base it none off of my experience of the roster and the transfer portal and who I think they got. I'm basing it off. I've been watching Carolina football for 45 years. You know what UNC is going to do this year?
What?
They're going 8-4 in the regular season. I can't tell you who the losses are. State, I'm going 9-3 in the regular season. UNC 8-4. Wake, I'll go 7-5 right now. I'll underestimate them, and they may,
I hope they get
me
back.
wrong like Dave Clawson has.
Yeah, I hope they get back to that winning side.
App's going 10-2, and ECU use the wild card, but let's go 8-4 ECU.
Okay, that all sounds pretty spot on based on
what you've done with
history.
The extensive research, or
no, it's year 6 for Mac Brown, and I wonder. a lot of this offseason has been about where are Carolina fans on Mac Brown. And I feel like this is right up there with important openers in Triangle history, because the way that Carolina has finished the last 2 years has just been abysmal. It's been an abject failure. Okay. Now, what had happened early in the seasons is they kind of had built up expectations with Drake Maye, and they looked like they were going to be more than just that 8-4, 9-3 kind of team.
Yep.
And I wonder if this year, without those expectations, without a Drake Maye, are fans kind of looking at this like, let's just see what happens tonight?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, unlike State playing Western Carolina, who they'll beat by name the score, this feels like a really important game to Carolina. And I want to give Mac Brown credit, since I've been critical of him this week. He's been excellent in August and September. His record in August and September in the second go around with Carolina is 12-6. The last 2 years, it's 7-1. Okay. That 12-6 represents that's winning 67% of his games.
Yeah.
The other months, he's 16-21, which is 43% of his games. But early season Mac has been the best version of Mac. And I feel like Carolina desperately needs that tonight on the road against a Big Ten team. I get it. Minnesota's not great shakes. And Carolina beat Minnesota by 18 points last year. I understand that. But this feels like a sneaky type opener that we really haven't seen for either State or Carolina, because usually when we're talking about those teams in these openers, it's South Carolina and Charlotte.
Yes. So,
it's like one of these games where, man, if they do, and then they kind of crush your spirits early, right? This just feels like an unusual type of test for our teams, who we kind of feel like we know already, right? We feel like we can hit that fast forward button. Hey, man, I'll tell you how this ends.
You're spot on that, in that, like you said, usually your opener is either, oh my God, they tapped UNC or NC State to be in a big opening night game, which already feels like a win that they're in the game. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're letting us play an SEC team to kick off the season. And all you're not even hoping for a win. You're hoping for respectability, right? Like you said, if you get a win over the LSU or the South Carolina in the first game of the season, it's great. But if you play them respectable, you're like, oh, we got asked to be in a big time game. It doesn't really hurt us because it was a loss to an SEC team, and now we could still try and win 6 ACC games. Or it's the nobody, the Division II, we should win by 30, like that type of game, right?
Yeah.
So I'll add to that. It's important in that, now a non-conference Division I opponent is a huge game now on any schedule.
And maybe a future conference opponent,
and
right?
Then, so that was going to be my next point is I feel like it also, taking Carolina out of it, there is a little more of prove yourself ACC or prove what we're saying about you ACC. If UNC can't beat Minnesota, then Paul Feinbaum, whose name comes up way too much, even when he's not involved. Paul Feinbaum has nothing to do with Minnesota or UNC.
Yeah.
But he'll absolutely find a way to bring that up. Be like, see, I told you the ACC, what should be one of the top 5 teams in the ACC can't even beat what should be one of the bottom 3 teams in the Big Ten or whatever, So it feels like it's also got those stakes of it's almost like a nothing bowl game, but at least we're playing a Big Ten or in an SEC school, and we can
Since nobody cares about bowl games anymore.
Yeah, I know.
At least we got one
we can
early.
chalk up a point to, like, if the ACC wins this one, it helps to, like, hey, you don't just get bonus points for being Minnesota being in the Big Ten. You're not as good. Remember this when we come down to first conference discussion.
I did a gambling podcast earlier with our friend Josh Goodson. We talked about this game, and the line has moved all the way to Carolina -2. They were +2 when this opened, and that might not seem a lot
talk about it
to other people, right? But it kind of sort of is. I think there's been some whispers of Minnesota injuries from that end of the world. God, will these schools please hurry up and get some gambling religion here and start reporting injuries? And I mean, you can laugh, but I did text this to Jim Phillips. I told him, I'm like, listen, because the SEC did it this year.
They do it.
They're going to do it. And I said, I don't care if you tell me the injuries. I need to know who's available. And if you think it's a joke, and I know you're laughing because you know me, but the truth of the matter is, like, you can't take money from these gambling companies and not be on the up and up and lead yourself to these situations where oh, my girlfriend is girlfriends with Jacoby Brissett's girlfriend. This is a completely imaginary scenario. And, it's like they were up late last night, or, oh, Jacoby's mad at her, or, oh, she missed her period, or, this or that. These are all real things.
Sure.
And who ends up getting that? Well, the guy on the corner running his own book. And I just think they need to be more upfront with the injury information for their own sake. We literally had the North Carolina legislator ask about the Dixie Classic and fixing games. Yeah. And the biggest deterrent to that is the sites themselves, who govern themselves better than really anything else anywhere. So
it's the transparency.
Yes.
No, I'm fair with that. I do hope that we can clip the girlfriend Mr. Period and put that on the OG sound editor for future. But I guess my only thing
is
to
the sidelines to you, Tony.
My only thing is, as soon as they start putting out the injury report, don't people start clowning the injury report as being like a tool that coaches use and don't believe it anyway?
Well, that was Belichick.
Yeah,
that was Belichick.
So like you stop as soon as there's an injury report, there's questions about whether even that's being done in good faith. But to your larger point of, hey, we got to have. We know we're not going to get the weeds information.
Yeah, you've got to give us upper body, lower body. Just tell me who's available.
We know that on Tuesday that guy's not playing Saturday.
Yeah,
tell the public.
And I think fair. We got some meteorologists out there letting us know who to my guy heal. Yeah, bring your ponchos to Minneapolis. Yeah, it's so stupid that, and I know there's probably a meathead football guy out there. They're supposed to play outside. That the University of Minnesota plays their football outside is one of the dumbest fucking things possible. There's a dome right there. And whatever your deal is with the Vikings, you did it all for all those years. If you want your own stadium, cool, but you guys don't need to play outside.
That's fair if you want to say that, but I think the same argument could be made with playing games in North Carolina in August.
About how
we're never going to change that. The season's not going to wait until after Labor Day. But
I know. So there's a lot of rain issues potentially for tonight. My thing that I talked about with Josh is, I feel like this year Carolina wants to be a Big Ten team. They want to be Amari and Hampton, run the football. Yep. You got Jeff Collins now as the new DC, play some defense, maybe shorten the game, fewer possessions to the game. That sounds a lot like what Minnesota wants to do. And so I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, we saw this when they played Elfed, when Elfed played ECU. It's tough sometimes to beat a team at their own game.
True.
And I do worry about that for Carolina against Minnesota tonight. You got to beat them at their own game, but you got to like their chances with Amari and Hampton, don't you?
He seems to be one of the – in college football, it's not quite college basketball where one guy can carry a whole team, but one guy can change a game in college football in a way that not necessarily on a professional level, like where you need an offensive line or whatever. You got one guy. Hold on, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. I was going to say, you got a gut feeling about tonight?
Did I? No,
I don't.
I got no gut feeling.
I got nothing tonight.
My gut feeling says heels. For some reason, I like the heels.
I could see either team winning.
Did Mac really say he might play two quarterbacks at the same time?
I would take credit for that because I suggested that to Eli Drinkwitz in 2017.
You have to do it. It's the evolution. College football has always been the breeding ground. Like, I feel like there's a division in college football. There's the guys who think, the coaches who think, I'm an NFL coach, so I'm going to run myself like an NFL program, and maybe an NFL program will see that and like that. And then there's like the Mike Leaches who are like, the NFL is never going to take me. I'm still smarter than all those jerks. Now watch this, who's like, let me put 8 wide, whatever I can do within the rules, And I think the two quarterback system is that. I'm not trying to change football totally. I do love the hook and lateral, and I love seeing Chiefs do, behind the back passes, all these things that are like just little.
Andy Reid, man, he's got that footage from like 1928 that he busts out for the
I'm not going off on a tangent here, but here's the thing about Patrick Mahomes doing a behind the back pass in preseason. Now that brings into play the fake behind the back pass, right?
In the season.
You don't have to hook and lateral every time. The threat that you might do it. And same thing with two quarterbacks. If one time you have a quarterback throw to another quarterback who then throws a pass downfield, well, now you get 3 other plays where you could work in the threat of that to just run your run off tackle.
Be creative.
Right? Like, so that's, I'm trying to preach a little bit to football guy. I'm not saying the crazy mad scientist, but the framework of like play action. It works because if you establish one thing, you don't even have to do it anymore. You get to fake it or show it, and then you can do your vanilla thing because you got the defense on their heels, right? So that's I would love nothing more. I hope Mac Brown plays 2 quarterbacks at the same time. If not, somebody else is going to soon. Because I'm about to go. I'm going to pull the curtain back again on your podcast here, but go ahead. Do your housekeeping.
We're go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do the thing where you pay the bills
for your house,
where people keep the lights on at your house and can keep your house clean. Enovana, green cleaning from Enovana. Check them out. Enovana.com. All right. We are here at the Longleaf Swine this Thursday, 9/12, which is the second Thursday in September. We will be at the Nature's Relief, old school Holly Ridge location, Glenwood. That's going to be like a Giglio hike. I'm going to go to the Italian place. I'm going to go to the Irish pub. I'm going to go to the Peddler. I'm just going to do it up that day, man.
Casa Carbone.
Yeah, like just
up around
the
there.
Whole thing, man.
What is park? What's the name of that shopping center? Shoot, I'll find it.
I don't know. It's Holly Ridge is the name of the road, so we will be up there on 9/12. The golf tournament is 10/4, October 4th. We're going to have great prizes, and we'll have a bourbon raffle coming up for that. But really, what's coming on at the Rialto? Hey, since you're here and you can pimp your spot.
Our fall lineup concerts. Actually, best time right now is to buy tickets. Don't buy tickets today. Starting tomorrow, Labor Day tickets. Actually, it may have started today, but it goes through Monday. Buy one get one free tickets at the Rialto right now.
Okay,
for Labor Day weekend special. Joan Osborne's on sale. Phil Vassar. What a Beautiful Day. Heads Carolina, Tails California.
Okay.
He didn't perform it. He wrote it.
Yeah.
And he'll perform that. Like, great country star.
Ooh.
He's coming up. So buy one, get one. And I won't go into my deeper conversation about my promoter, my manager saying across the board.
This is Harvard? The Harvard
No.
The real brains of the opera?
Yes. Live music concerts, slightly not where they want to be.
Sure.
Across the board, we have a couple shows that are selling great, and partly people are balking it. This happened this summer. A bunch of concerts got canceled. Like unless you were Taylor Swift or somebody like Dave Matthews or Fish, who always has their built in. I can't remember some of the big names that like had to draw back concerts. This is on a level way above the Rialto, but just indicative of the industry, right? And I want to get a thing out there that says, here's what your entertainment options cost in the Triangle right now. And I'm not knocking any of them. I go to DPAC for Broadway. I go to Canes games. I go to state games. I go to UNC games. I eat out. All of those things cost a lot of money right now, right? Like a meal for two, two seats to tonight's game at Western Carolina is going to cost you
$60
at least, right?
Yep.
And so the Rialto, we very rarely have tickets going over $60. Like Phil Vassar is maybe $60 or $80. The majority of our tickets are 50 and under. And every now and then somebody sees a ticket like $40. That seems like a lot for. You think of going to a club, I should be paying $15.
You can't even get like 4 things at the grocery store for $50.
You're not getting third level at the Canes.
No.
For $40-$50 right now. Maybe a Tuesday night versus who's the least in
Flames,
the Thrashers, are they still around?
No, they're gone.
Like maybe you can get in there, So I recognize that it's tough for people, but before you say prices are high, evaluate all the things you're doing, and we got to fit in your budget just like anybody else. But it's a reminder of like, I love these sporting events, but it's hard to get to a football game for less than $100 a ticket now these days. If you buy the season, you buy bulk, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was more of a tangent.
Okay, we're still in housekeeping now.
Okay.
So
wow.
You can be.
I definitely went too long.
You can join OG fans. Go to OG250.com. That's OG250.com. It's on the scroll right there. The things I've learned how to use on our StreamYards. The scroll. OG250.com. We have our newsletter. I write for the newsletter. Lauren Brownlow writes for the newsletter. Tom Workrate, our Canes guy, writes for the newsletter.
Love him. Good dude.
He does such a great job with the Canes. Really looking forward to reading all that. We all had our first missives this week on the newsletter. Joe and I do a mailbag episode that is for OG fans only on Fridays. You can check that out. Law of the Wolf, that is also on OG fans. We put up this week's episode, which was our conversation with Debbie Yao, the true star of the Sports Podcast Festival from this past week. So please go check that out. It's OGTriangleMedia.com. OG250.com. Now, you could definitely see the Roback logo. I got to stand up for a second, or maybe you can just see it now. The Triple D, My Smoo. My guys at Roback hooked me up with My Smoo. This is my
Didn't they
sweatshirt.
struggle in week 0?
Hey, man, they did, but they came back. We're focused on the comeback.
Okay.
We're not really focused on the struggle.
So what I'm hearing is that they won.
They did not even come close to cover. I didn't have them.
I was like, but you didn't.
They're still my Smoo. They're still my Smoo. I did not bet on them. OG20, use that promo code OG20. They have the best hoodies in the game, the best golf shirts in the game. It's really not close. Remind me to get something for Hayes. This is a new low in your your attire.
Yes, I'm sorry. I got my uniform. It's my Rialto.
Oh yeah, get the towel going. That's better.
Yes.
Maybe I get you a branded towel. My friends at
this truly happens. I throw in a shirt. I get going. This happened today. I had back-to-back calls with my accountant. I mean,
no.
This lady is sitting in what looks like she's about to go to a wedding. Then I talked to my promoter. He's definitely a little more dressed down, but I don't realize how bad I look until I sit down and show up at the meeting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry I look like that. And so then I didn't have time to fix it before I came here.
It's all good. I'm going to get you some Roback stuff.
No, my apologies. Can I say I'm not trying to hurt y'all's money at all.
Yeah.
Roback doesn't need to advertise anymore.
Why?
They're everywhere.
That's awesome.
I went to West Virginia, my little vacation, and all the kids are wearing it.
Wearing the Robacks?
They're crushing it.
OG20.
They should continue to advertise.
Save yourself 20%. We take
it.
all the credit for all the Roback traffic.
I don't think I heard about Roback before you guys.
See, that's a real thing.
And I see them everywhere now.
Maybe you want to live close to Hayes at the Rialto. Maybe you want to live close in Garner to me. Maybe you're trying to find some of this new construction. Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. Please go hit them up. Don't take a guaranteed offer. Don't leave money on the table. Don't be stupid. Be smart. Go with the experts. Buy and sell with confidence. It's Hometown Realty. That's myhtr.com. And are you ready for the Big 12, Matt Davis Big 12 game of the week? I am.
Yeah, what's his school? Why is he a Big 12 hawk? Is he an Oklahoma guy?
He's not. What? He's a big Duke fan, actually. We saw this summer that the Big 12 was for sale, and I think they're gonna sell it to a different insurance company. Gotcha. So we were like, yeah, you could sell it. But
you always refer to him as the Big 12 guy, and I don't know where the story
now we're gonna sell it. It's the Matt Davis 12. The Matt Davis 12 game of the week is Colorado versus North Dakota State. Speaking of line movement, it's moved over 10, so it's no longer single digits. But if Vegas ain't telling you that Deion's in trouble, they are absolutely trying to scream to you that they could be in a little bit of trouble. That's the Matt Davis 12 game of the week. If you want to save on car insurance or home insurance, maybe some more closer to home things, actually give Matt a call. It's 919-779-8277. When I tell you it's productive to have a conversation and save yourself some money, I am not kidding. That is really how the real world works. So check him out again, 919-779-8277. Let's see if I can do this. All right, we touched on this in the open, and my question for you was, will NC State actually be different this year? And I think I already have your answer, but they open tonight against Western Carolina. FCS or 1AA opponent. Again, the number for the total 61 seems a little high to me for week one. I know Western Carolina doesn't exactly play a ton of defense, but there are a lot of questions about NC State's defense, which is the one card Dave has been trying to play. You know, things we've learned about Dave Doran. He loves to be backed into a corner and play different imaginary and real chips on his shoulder. So that's one of them about the defense and losing Peyton Wilson. It's their openers tonight. I actually applaud State for playing this game because normally they would open with Tennessee and then they would break everyone's heart. And then all of a sudden, you know, we're back into that cycle of what everyone thinks of Dave Doran and the NC State football program under him. But I feel like you have something entirely different.
No.
About NC State.
No.
That you want to talk about.
All right, before we get there, now I've discovered the comments.
Yes.
I can
and
see
we will get to the comments in Hey Joe, of course.
And somebody's comment was the comment that I was going to go with in pulling back the curtain. And I'll get to talking about the game.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, do your thing now.
But did you absolutely. If you're sitting and being like, no, we did it because of this and this. UNC is playing another power. Is it really power four?
Four.
It just sounds so dumb to say power four now.
I know.
As dumb as it does saying power 6 in basketball, it's like, okay, whatever. So UNC is playing the bigger opponent, right? But I know that you guys was talking that much UNC out of the gate just to try and thwart the We Are an NC State podcast by you.
No, they have the more interesting football game tonight.
Maybe, but I'm in maybe it's because I live in Raleigh and I'm like, we should be at the tailgate. Like, I don't even care about the games. I'm like, we should be tailgating. So to me, it feels
I'll be at the tailgate. I don't know where you'll be tonight.
Some of us have to work.
Some of us have to work. I'll be in the RV lot
theater
in about 2 hours.
And yes, you guys are bigger than a Raleigh podcast. But if you ask me as a guy sitting in Raleigh, NC State feels like the bigger game tonight. And this is kind of getting to your question. NC State feels like the bigger night because they have the higher expectations, right? They're not going to lose tonight.
Sure.
They're probably going to cover, and it won't be detrimental if they only win by 20 instead of 30. Like,
Yeah.
But it feels like the bigger game because the team with the bigger expectations is kicking off their season.
I think State is a bigger story going into the season.
Yes. And absent a UNC versus South Carolina or LSU and Charlotte, as much as UNC and Minnesota does matter more for all the reasons you pointed out, I truly, not trying to make jokes about whether you're a State podcast or UNC podcast or being super biased as a Raleigh guy.
Sure.
I think my answer is State feels like a bigger game tonight because of what they have the potential to do this season. And even if it's just Western Carolina, it feels like we know that tonight is a warm up for Tennessee and Clemson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we know what that means. I will admit, I forget the specific question you asked me about NC State.
No, I was setting you up for the thing that you wanted to talk about.
If that even though, yes, State has the cupcake, UNC is playing an actual game that at the end of their season, it'll matter to say we beat Minnesota or not.
Yeah.
And obviously, putting aside the disclaimer of if State loses to Western Carolina, well, that becomes the much bigger story. But I
think they learned from 22 when they went to ECU and it was a close call. Like,
yes,
we should probably warm up before we play one of these.
They're not going to lose, but it feels like a bigger game to me because of the expectations of this season for NC State.
They also went out in the portal and got 1,000 more interesting pieces than any other team in this area.
And they got one of the most exciting dudes. And I'll put it this way. We were joking earlier about Hayes Permar. Can you name players for this team? Like, I can name a few NC State guys. I can't name you a Wake Forest player.
Yeah.
I can name
Taylor Morin is their designated white receiver this year. Your Campagnaro.
UNC, like Hampton, and now because we're closer to the college football season, I've heard the quarterbacks' names repeated. Don't make me say them and get them wrong
Johnson,
and then make fun of me.
Harrell, who I've learned how to say.
But my point is, NC State, also, because an NC State tailgate is like the most fun. And I wish it were freaking 75 degrees instead of 105.
Last week it was nice.
That sucks.
And now the false fall has hit us in the face.
The kickoff the tailgate season in Raleigh feels like an event in and of itself on a Thursday night being cool. And then they have big expectations this season. So regardless of this game, State feels like the starting point to me.
Now, you had texted me earlier in the week a tweet, and I'll call up the tweet here. This is from Jaden.
Do we want to do this now, or do we want to do it in?
Jaden covers NC State for the News Observer. Here's your tweet. This is what you sent me.
Yeah.
Okay. When I first got here, I was told Dave Doran is a tough guy to define. Turns out not the case. I decided then I'd be the one do it. Typo there. The story took 3 months.
I'm not worried about that.
But I've been gathering stuff for about 6. I'd love for y'all to give it a read. My editors and I worked hard. So, yes, Jaden, right. I read the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Good story. I enjoyed it. It's a good feature.
I feel like this belonged maybe more in Hey Joe or what's Lightning Round.
Yeah.
But
I got some quality Lightning Round events for you.
Okay, good. We can get to it then. Here was my only issue with it. And there's multiple parts to this. I am now fading. I used to be hardcore in sports media. That was my job the way it's yours.
Yep.
And you and I have talked about this of like, sometimes you got to check yourself of like, you think the entire world is talking about something because your entire world is other people who work in sports or sports fans, right? And you forget, like, as soon as you step outside that world, they're like, I can't even name the NC State football coach. You're like, he's been there 12 years. They do it, whatever. So I don't know the person who wrote this, and I read most of the story. It read like a well-researched, well-written. Oh, you want to write a good Dave Doran story, don't just talk to Dave Doran for 10 minutes and write the quotes he says and write his record.
Go talk to people who help them get there.
Yeah, his assistant coach back at whatever. So I thought it was great. And this is also the internet culture. Like right now, if you say, hey, I wrote a great feature, and it might be the best feature, but if you tweet it out and saying, I wrote a great feature and hit send, like your editors have taught you, like, nobody's reading that, man. Like you got to at least give me the splashy quote. At least give me and I mean, that's how we get to quotes. We got to like, tell me the one thing that he said this time that he's never said before. It's my only slight issue, and I think somebody's dropping you off a little refresher there.
Yeah, my guy.
Is Dave Doran's been here like 12 years, right?
Yes, this is the start of his 12th
season. The 12th season. So the tweet said, some people said Dave Doran's a hard guy to define. Turns out not true. Like, so you defined him. This now for 11 years he's been here.
Yeah.
And
no one else.
No one working in sports media has ever been able to define him.
You want a shorty?
Well, may take one.
Yeah.
This is 100% true. Praise to you guys. Yeah. I've interviewed Dave Doran.
Yeah.
I've had a radio show. Right. I've listened to other people interview Dave Doran, right?
Right.
They've asked him good questions. Occasionally they'll be like, you got a great answer out of him. And Dave Doran's overall, if you rate him, he's not a great interview.
Yeah.
He vibes with you guys. Like I've seen him sit down. He joke, whether it was Adam and Joe before you were on the scene, you and Joe, like,
I'll give Joe credit there. Joe's a little bit more of a whisperer than I am. I'll hit him in the press conference like I did last week about is there a monster out there? I'll give him some of that, but no, I mean, listen, some people live for the presentation in the show, Mac, and some people just live to be like at practice and with the team, with their players. That's Dave. That's what Dave wants to do. I have learned, and I think most State fans have learned to accept that that's what he is.
So did you think before you read that article that you couldn't define Dave Doran, but now you can, now that you read it? I'm making a bigger deal. But you. So
I think she did a good job with the story. I think when you're proud of something like that, though.
Yes.
Things I have learned in this business. If you don't promote your work, shit, man, ain't anyone else going to do it for you.
I allow for nowadays, like if you wanted to fly, you better be the one giving it wings, right? Yes. I allow for that. It did strike me, and I
think solipsistic is the word you're looking for.
I've always tried, you know me, I've tried to live in, and Obi says this a little bit of like live in both worlds. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a journalist, which allows me a cooler perspective. You journalists are stuck on journalist perspective.
Right.
I've got an actually deeper understanding because I am a fan, but I absolutely want to wear the journalism hat, right? Be like, no, I want that press pass. I want to be able to ask a question, you know? But there was an element of, and I've had talks with journalists who have said, sometimes sports writers can be a little self-righteous. And when you're not attacking them and their article and the time they might have done it, all of them will be like, yes, 100%. We all do this. I can't believe this guy said that. My colleague who I love and work with, I can't believe he said, like made it more of a big deal or took some moral stand about how somebody didn't show up for a press conference. Right. He didn't talk to us.
Right.
Nobody there can be times where people are out of step with what fans actually care about. Like, we don't care if he talked to you. He went and turned around and went on a podcast and bared his soul, right? Like nowadays, that's a thing. So they just felt a little bit of the self-righteous sports writer. No one could define him, even my colleagues who have been covering him for 12 years, and now I did it. That was all. That was my one.
Maybe the person you asked to come co-host the show with you wants to put you in a sticky situation. Maybe you want to get them to sign a waiver before you do those things. Well, Josh Whitaker and Hamer, Joe Hamer, WH.lawyer. They have the world's greatest URL. If they were smart enough to come up with that URL, they're smart enough to help you. Go check them out. It's WH.lawyer. And last week we were over at the Rialto. We had great hoodies. They were from Home Field. It's a new football season. They have all kinds of new merch. Go check them out. Home Field Apparel. Use that promo code OG24. OG24, save 15% on that initial order. It's a new year, so you can use the new promo code. They have the best. I mean, the throwback stuff that they have in the team boxes this year are amazing. Josh does such a great job. He supports 88 podcasts. 88.
He also supports small local venues. because they came strong at the after party. They were buying drinks for people.
Yes.
They were tipping the wait staff.
Yes.
They did it up right. Now, I
were big time.
Sounded like for everyone involved, sounded like it was a successful night for them too.
We moved some merch now.
What
baby.
better type of event when everyone involved is like, we're all eating. They're like, let's share. Hey, well, you know,
absolutely
we'll buy some more of your merch. We'll buy some more of your drinks. We'll share.
It was
Give your fans
not
free.
us, but you probably noticed that the number of Shutdown Fullcast people who were wearing a home field shirt,
dude,
there
were so many good ones.
There was 400 people there. 250 of them had a home field shirt on.
And there was 200. I'm trying to think of my favorites, and I got to be careful here because I don't know that all of them are home field.
Okay,
but some of them I'm pretty sure. Tickle Me Elko,
I think so.
Almost positive was. There were a couple other ones that were just great shirts.
Yeah, they do a great job. So again, use that promo code OG24.
And I know they do the funny, like, or either the funny or the this just happened last night. Let's capitalize on the fact that that's awesome too and smart.
They can move quickly.
But the hey, here are old logos that everyone loves. Why can't we put these on t-shirts?
Yeah.
And it does.
App State, ECU are two of their best schools.
Getting more in your own business.
Yeah.
You come to realize you have to have a conversation. Are you talking about knowing where you can and can't podcast live from based on certain rules?
Yep.
But you're like, hey, wouldn't it be great if somebody could just go ask this, like figure out this? Yes, here's why you can't just take that old logo and put it on the shirt and sell it. But maybe if you ask a couple questions and get a couple green light or thumbs up, but like
you can make some moves.
So many of those old logos. Like,
make some moves right down Person Street, make a left. You'll see Two Roosters.
New flavors coming this weekend.
New
baby.
Roosters, new flavors, but let's not do the new flavors yet.
All right.
Because the peanut butter cookie is the greatest flavor in the history of Two Roosters.
I'm trying to predict what will be the greatest flavor in Two Roosters history next month.
As Ovius likes to say, I fall in love fast. I do, but I'm making plans to have extra Two Roosters peanut butter cookie in my freezer for September. You were absolutely right. The last time you were on this podcast, get the ice cream cake.
Yeah, I heard you talk about it.
The ice cream cake. They had the Brookio this month. It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And you take off, and you end up it's a little bit healthier because you're like, if I buy a pint, I will eat the whole pint.
I see what you're saying.
So you're like, you probably only slicing off half a pint. Last a little bit longer. You eat a little bit less. It's good for everyone, but they're delicious.
Yeah. So please
did it have a cookie dough crust?
Take good care of our friends over at Two Roosters, man. On a day like today, you could absolutely devour.
I'm sure we're a no free ads podcast, but I'm just gonna say my wife likes spending time around another place. It's very near to that Two Roosters.
Oh,
so
they're okay.
I support Two Roosters fully. We supported them too much in the pandemic. It's unhealthy to eat a pint of ice cream every night.
Every night. Yeah.
So like you can't do that. So we had gotten back to a much more healthier relationship with Two Roosters. We're sliding into
I like that.
More unhealthy. So
all right, now it's time. Let's do this. I think I can do this.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
It's so weird listening to the songs back at regular speed. I tell you, I listen to the podcast at 1.5. So come in here and I'm ready for it says,
we do have a lot to get into in the lightning round. I don't know if you saw this or not, Hayes, but the Patriots named Jacoby Brissett, former NC State quarterback, to be their starter this week. And Drake Maye obviously was their top 5 draft pick.
Yep.
He is their future. But the Patriots are in a hard reset under Jared Mayo.
Yes.
With Bill Belichick gone, not retired. I suspect he's back at some point, but this is a hard reset for the Patriots in the NFL.
In the NFL, not the Patriots.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of this preseason has been spent talking about Joe Milton, the quarterback from Tennessee, who they took in the 6th round, which of course, when it's the Patriots and they take a quarterback in the 6th round, they're automatically the next Tom Brady. And then Milton.
That's where they actually take the quarterback they want.
Right.
They're like, we got to waste a first rounder because people will skewer us. We don't, but we really find our QBs in the 6th.
Right. So there's a little bit of that. Maye was off to a little bit of a slow start in the preseason. I thought he came on by the end, and you had a lot of like Dan Orlovsky's out there saying like, look, they can't start Drake Maye because This is a team that has no offensive line, has no weapons, and really all you're going to do is put him out there and put him in danger and may potentially stunt his ability and growth.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, what does that sound a lot like?
Yes.
Well, that sounds a lot
year
like
ago.
the situation that the Panthers were in last year. And lo and behold, Bill Simmons, the king of all new media, had the same exact thought. So let me see if I can get Simmons up and we'll get him going here. Let's see if this works.
I feel like you were maybe going over until the Judon trade.
Barmore getting hurt. There was a case for them to have a top 5 defense, and Barmore went out with blood clots, and he's the best guy in the defense. And once they did that, I think they decided to trade Judon.
Yeah.
They needed both of those guys to have some push and some.
Okay.
The New England Patriots, my beloved Pats, the worst team I think we've had since I was a senior in college.
I don't want to hear it. Shut
The offensive line is so bad.
No
the
one
QB coach combo
No one.
is in the bottom 3 in the league.
I have
about stuff
something
like
for
that.
you. I have a
No,
little
no.
This is a pylon signed by Drake May.
I watched this.
Really?
watched this.
Yep. Isn't that nice? Why are you laughing, Kyle? It's a delightful gift.
I love Drake May, and the only thing that matters this season is that Drake May doesn't get hurt, that he doesn't get put in a situation like what Carolina did to Bryce Young last year, where they just threw him to the
100%.
wolves and he got the shit kicked out of him and ran for his life and had no skill position guys. The under for me is
Yeah, so that was the play there. I agree too. I think the
All right.
Patriots are doing the right thing. Give Drake May some time. You will see him obviously this year. Jacoby Brissett has never started and ended a year. I don't think. Maybe with the Colts,
But he
one of
probably
those
could.
years. But
He's
yeah, I mean,
perfectly fine.
yeah. Listen, Patrick Mahomes, who is the best quarterback in the NFL currently and maybe all time, didn't play his first year.
You're taking many of my points. Okay. What indication do we have that starting out of the gate is better for quarterbacks?
I mean,
Who
the
are the
only
examples?
sample size you have is Cam Newton was unbelievable out of the gate.
True.
And CJ Stroud last year was unbelievable
Yeah,
out
I
of the gate.
forgot about him.
And those are the two off the top of my head. But to your point, it's more so.
Peyton started out of the gate, didn't he?
Yeah, and he threw
But he was
28
bad.
interceptions in his first year.
He was bad, but you would
Yeah.
say, "Oh, well, that's why you get him in there, so you can go and get that." You know. But Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, all these dudes sat.
Even Brett
almost-
Favre.
Favre.
Yeah.
There's way more examples.
Who's done quarterbacks better than the Packers, and they never get a guy and start him right away.
Yes, and at the very least, nobody should say, "Well, the fact they're not starting right away is clearly they don't think he's a long-term quarterback." Like
No,
erase that.
They're actually trying to protect
Yes,
him.
and I've seen. I could be wrong here, and I'm not one who jumps up to defend the Panthers, so I'm not trying to do that. Didn't Andy Dalton get hurt late in the preseason, and it made it kind of like we have to go with Bryce Young?
They went Jack Plummer last year.
Last year, I felt like something happened.
They had the one fake injury week where they played Andy Dalton. I would have preferred to have
that
seen
was
more.
that was
of,
the fake Bryce Young injury
I would have
week.
preferred to have seen more of Andy Dalton last year.
Somebody in the comments may know. I think,
But maybe the less, the better. We talk about last year in the Panthers.
I think with a week or two left to go, Andy Dalton had a legit injury, and that was part of the reason Bryce started.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely, I don't think he started last year. I think I saw one of those. Is it a coaches? No, I think it was a players poll. Anonymous players poll, so confidential.
Yeah.
And it was like, who are the most underrated QBs? And Bryce Young wasn't number one, but he was like top 3. And the only logic was, oh, everyone thinks he's the worst and not even an NFL quarterback. And they're just saying like, he might be average. He might be the 20th best and not the 32nd best.
Give him a
right?
chance.
He's just in such a terrible situation.
Yeah.
So there's nothing I can tell you. I'm not willing to go out on a limb and be like, Drake May is going to go down as right behind Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in this. Like, I don't have some knowledge on that.
This gives him a better chance at success in the long
there's
run.
Zero part that gives me pause that they're not starting him. And absolutely, especially with somebody like Jacoby Brissett, who's proven this is what I do.
Hold down the fort.
I am a bridge dude.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like the smart move. And to me is no comment on Drake May's future that they're not starting him now.
Topic, stack it up. Giglio's roll back it up. Well, I know what we'll do. A lightning round.
All right. The one big game in the ACC this week is Clemson playing against Georgia.
UNC Minnesota's not a big game. I got raked in the comments. I know we're not doing the comments. I tried to call State a bigger game.
Nationally.
At the end of the year, when you're evaluating your wins, UNC Minnesota will count more. But like on the vibes of the season, it feels bigger. But yes.
So Clemson is a double-digit underdog. I don't remember this. This is the third time that they've been a double-digit underdog under Dabo, which I kind of sort of really just still don't believe.
Like even in his first year, yeah, there wasn't a Florida State and then
it must have been early. It must have been super early, but it's the third time. And it's only the 9th time this century that Clemson has been a double-digit underdog. I enjoy the social medias, reels and the YouTubes and Instagram, and I don't know all the names.
You over there yet?
I'm not on the TikToks. My wife loves the TikToks.
Dude,
I can't do it.
Once you get on there, you need to go start watching like Jeff Perlman. You could do a Jeff Perlman like account.
Oh, okay. I don't know this.
He got off Twitter, and he was pretty big on Twitter.
Yeah.
He kind of like you do when you do like story time.
Yeah.
TikTok is perfect for like.
Oh, okay.
Like let me tell you about the time that Chuck Amato
made
the bad decision to take his players out.
Mr. Intimidation looks like he's put some weight on.
And it's just one 90-second story.
Yeah.
And
So anyway, there's this guy Josh Mancuso on the TikToks who I enjoy. He does college football stuff. I think I sent it to you, so you've seen it, but it's like he plays like both sides of the camera, you know. So I thought this was funny because people know how I pronounce Clemson on purpose because I've been told when you do use the Z, they do not like that. They're okay when you P, but not when you Z.
They don't want Clemson.
No, they want Clemp is okay. So I enjoyed this video. And I also kind of sort of have come around to thinking that Clemp is going to fight in this game. 13.5 points. Feels pretty fucking starchy, man.
I like if you from the abstract. I mean that's the wrong way to start the phrase, but if you had to list, hey, who are the 10 top programs in college football? I feel like we've done a lot of laughing at Clemson the past couple of years because Dabo says they're like.
Coming to get us.
Downtown Raleigh. Hey, we're in an urban setting here.
Making a right, going to make another right back to the hospital.
People have been either rolling their eyes or making jokes at Dabo being
they probably should
doing we're in the God's name, image, and likeness.
Yes. His name
and not taking transfer portals.
Yes.
So he's been a punchline, and I think those things are hurting the
ACC brand.
And hurting the perception of his program more than the actual how bad they've been.
Yeah.
So if you had to list who are the 10 best programs in college football right now, right?
They probably would not list Clemson, even though they have 2 national titles in the last
and that's where I'm
8
like
years.
I'm like, maybe they still belong in that list. Like people will rush to continue to put Texas and USC in there when I'm like,
when's the last time
USC
done
a little bit more than them? You know?
All right. So let me play this video.
Point, 13.5 seems like too much
starchy
for a team that's a
no, it's the Clemson Tigers. Where's the P? There's not one. There's no Z either. It's not Clemson. Yeah, nobody cares. We have a game to focus on. Well, focus. I'm locked in. We're ready. Yeah, too bad we're playing on a neutral site where you can't rub your special rock and run down your special hill. Neutral site. It's Atlanta. It's basically a home game for you. Well, welcome to Atlanta, where the players play and your players get arrested like every day.
That's good line.
Whatever. They'll be on the field. Oh, work release program. A couple, yeah. Yeah, I see you picked up an ETN in the offseason. So did the cops. Yeah, and he'll be running ETN to the end zone all day if he plays. Or he will, probably. If he doesn't, behind him, we have Nate Branson and Cash. So Nate Branson and Cash sounds like a washed-up country trio. Sounds like music Dabo would listen to. Yeah, maybe. Whatever. I bet you're really missing your 2 stars from last year, huh? Burt Bowers, Lad McCloskey. What? I'm not worried about that, okay? Opening drive, Carson Beck, touchdown pass to Dominic Lovett. You'll love it. The only thing Beck is driving on Saturday is his $300,000 Lamborghini. Is that supposed to be a burn? Because that's awesome. That's NIL. No, we do NIL the Clemson way. And you're going to lose the Clemson way. We have the NIL power. Our power is in Christ alone and in Barrett Carter, okay? Defensive end, he'll be hanging out with Carson Beck in the backfield all day. Not as often as Malachi Starks picking off passes from Carl Klubnickel, Cade Klubnik, all right? He'll be dropping dimes to Tyler Brown and Troy Stellato. Dimes? Is that your NIL budget? That's a good one. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. It is going to be a good game, okay? Maybe we'll see you for a rematch in the playoffs. Maybe. Hey, at least we don't have to worry about Saban anymore. Go.
I like that. That one hit me in the
also,
right spots.
If you didn't see that guy and you just heard him, I'd be like, why is Nate Bargatze making college football videos? So I feel like he sounded exactly like him.
Stiletto sounds like somebody you would have done a parody song about.
See that? Yes. Stiletto. Stiletto, is it me you're looking for?
Oh, yes.
Too many syllables. I don't like.
I know your rules. I've learned your rules. Hang on. We got one more.
It's coming down like this one.
All right, hold on real quick.
Isn't
Since
that Bruce so good?
you guys talk about the intros, so I get to talk about them. Is he playing the instruments on those, or is it
I
all
think so.
computerized?
I think he is.
It's impressive either way. I
Yeah.
just want to know.
Brian from Nice Price. I mean,
Right.
those are amazing. So this is specifically one that I'm going to feel really old about. Do you consider yourself in Gen X?
Yes, I'm squarely in Gen X.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
I
Well,
was
okay.
born in
So,
the 70s. Come on.
okay, perfect. I'm going to be 50 in April.
Yep.
So I'm already kind of going through it a little bit.
My sister's when
$75 I was born.
in April.
April 25th, 425.
My sister within like week and a half of each
Okay.
other.
So we have in our Eford studio space, we have two women who do hair. One is Anike. And Anike the other day, on Monday, I went in, I said, hey Anike, how was your weekend? I call her Super Nique. How was your weekend? It was great. My dad celebrated his 50th birthday, so he got a cigar and he had like a really nice bourbon. And I just like put my head down, went into the office and cried.
Like, how was your dad?
Your
50?
Your dad's 50. Got it. So there are some times when this stuff pops up on my timeline. I think I know how to do this now the right way, where it will actually start at the beginning. But yeah, I saw this and I was slightly horrified about what
Facts to ruin your day.
Gen X.
Wilford Brimley was 49 years old when he filmed Cocoon. Yes, 49 years old.
I'm 40.
That means I'm already older than Wilford Brimley was when he was in that movie. I've known this for a while now, and every time I say it, I need time to process it. Whatever year you were born, if you're Gen X, that's referred to now as the 1900s. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. You remember Kurt Loder from MTV News? Yeah, he's 79 years old now. And 39 years ago was the last time MTV played music. I take no pleasure in spreading this news. We are now closer to 80 years old than 1980. Let that settle in for a minute. And Back to the Future 2, the year that Marty went into the future, is almost 10 years ago now. And the last one. When we talk about the 1980s today, it's the same as our grandparents in the 1980s talking about the 1940s. Have a nice day.
I think about the last one I think about a decent amount because I think of how much I still listen to like the Beatles and I love the Beatles.
60s. Yeah.
So listening to the Beatles would be like, could be like, when I was in the 80s listening to like the music from the 1900s,
Right.
Like, and I still like it, whatever.
Goodbye, my Coney Island baby. Like,
Yes. Goodbye, my Coney Island baby. You know me, I got an old soul when it comes to music. All right, there are a couple things. One thing I disagree with him on there.
Yeah.
He said it's been 39 years since MTV played music.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Oh, okay.
Now, I do know people were making the joke about even in the 90s, people were still we're starting to make I remember when MTV used to actually play music.
Yeah.
I used to have crippling depression and insomnia, and I can tell you the lineup of MTV's music. It was probably 2002, 2003. They were playing music videos because in the middle of the night, I would sit and watch Roses by Outkast, Musicology by Prince.
Yeah.
There were like 3 or 4 other ones where every night, and almost like my brain needed to see those before I would try and shut back down. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night, nothing would be on. I would turn on MTV and watch videos, modern, like music that was coming out, videos, and it's like 2004. So, and then do you know about the Wilford Brimley? Is it a phenomena or I think it's a Twitter account called Wilford Brimley Cocoon.
Yeah.
And it's whenever anybody hits,
like when Jennifer Aniston gets to like
so
49.
she is now the age that,
Yeah.
that Wilford Brimley was, just to make you feel old. So that guy's a little bit stealing on that one. But yes, those. But all right, do you actually get bothered by turning 50? I know, like
I'm working on it.
I didn't get bothered.
Working on it. I was bothered by 40. I feel like I'll be less bothered by 50. But it's still like a serious life milestone, right?
I didn't get bothered at 30. I didn't get bothered at 40.
30 didn't bother me.
I
40
lose count in the middle. Like
40 was
truly
tough.
This whole year I've referred to myself as 46.
And you're not.
Somebody corrected me and they're like, no, you turned 46. I'm like, oh yeah. Feels like I just got a year back. The one thing I will say is it starts to be a little easier to be like, oh yeah, like 25 years in the future isn't that far ahead. And it's stealing a Louis C.K. bit. I think he was like 40 at the time. He was like doing 45. He's like, if I died today, my peers and my family would come out and be like, this is tragic. Young death. He's 45.
Right.
It's like in about 8 years,
Nope.
They'll be like, well, he had a great life. That's what he's
had a good run.
That's what people do. He's over 50. It's like it's a little early, but like, no, he's not a young guy. He does not get the tragic. He died so young designation anymore. It's just all right, he's gone.
All right. I told you we will be out at Nature's Relief Thursday, September 12th. That's over in Holly Ridge, the OG location. You can go to all of their different locations, though. There's one on Western Boulevard where we did a previous show where I was like stoned out of my brains, out of my gourd.
Is that a tradition now?
Sleepy time.
Do you feel the need? Is the bar set?
The bar.
You know the fan. I mean, I'm just looking at the commenters now. They're not talking about it. But the day that show opens, people are going to be like, "What's Giglio had already?
Give Giglio the 50 millis.
What's Giglio's menu look like?"
But they're on Timber Drive in Garner. That's my home base. I like going over there. Get the different drinks. I have discovered that I can handle Delta 8 drinks. Delta 9 drinks are the ones that kind of hit me in a different space. So go ask some questions. They have different drinks. They have different things you can smoke. They have different gummies that you can take. All kinds of different ways to help yourself and enjoy yourself, anxiety or otherwise. So go check them out. Nature's Relief. It's naturesreliefhempstore.com. All right. The Breeze Through also was a big help at the Sports Podcast Festival. Their food truck was like the one thing I really appreciated about their food truck, Hayes, and you could probably speak to this a little bit. They had normal food.
Yep.
It was a hot dog. It was a burger. There was chicken. There were chicken fingers. There was a chicken sandwich. There were fries.
It is cool.
It wasn't like a bacon romulade or whatever. Like, all this other stuff. Like, I just want like normal food. And I wanted to come out fairly quickly too, by the way.
Yep.
Like, I don't want you to sit. I didn't come here for like some sort of 8-course meal. I came here because I'm hungry and I've been drinking and I need your food.
I respect the food truck craze. There has been a little bit of that phenomena of, do you love Indian barbecue?
Right.
We do that. We're like, well, yes, if Indian barbecue is your favorite food, then like that food truck's going to be awesome and you're going to be there, right? But 100%, if I pull up at a brewery and I'm like, they have a food truck and it's Indian barbecue and that's not what you want, you're like, oh my God, like I can't find anything on this.
Does this qualify as the Josh? Let's go to Tony.
I was just trying to pick a random style. I have nothing with the ethnicity. I'm trying to think of what's or like if you love breakfast food, there's a breakfast food truck out there, right? But if you don't love breakfast foods and you're at a brewery and you're like, maybe I'll get dinner at the food truck, and it pulls up and you're like, oh, you want some pancakes? You're like, damn it. I just wanted burgers and wings.
Yeah, there's definitely a Breeze Through out there for you. There's 17 locations across the state. breezethrough.com. I will be there before tonight's game over at Carter Finley Stadium. Maybe you're still making plans to go over and tailgate. Well, go to the Butcher's Market, butchersmarkets.com. Hot dogs off the charts, burgers off the charts. Keep it simple. You can also get the signature steak tips or the signature chicken breast for tonight for your tailgate over at Carter Finley.
Literally going there today to pick up I'm getting out of town.
Yep.
My wife and I
Perfect.
said we'll take the Sunday meal to our host. I'm picking up signature chicken.
So good.
I will look like a better cook than I am when all I'm going to do is just buy theirs and throw it on the grill and it'll cook perfect. And I'll be like, hey, what do you know? I'm the man.
I'm the
I'm
real
a grill master.
So go check them out. Butcher's Market. It's the butchersmarkets.com. All right, we got college football tonight. You can gamble on the Wolfpack. You can gamble on the Tar Heels. Our friends at DraftKings have you hooked up. Use that promo code OG24. Use the promo code OG4 bet 24. Bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. You have to be new to DraftKings. New customers get bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Right now, they have all kinds of other offers, though. If you signed up in the spring, they have a 100% bonus match. They got a lot of different boosts going on right now. They got a lot of good things going on. So check them out at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app. Again, when you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That promo code is OG24. And do you have any games tonight that are tickling your fancy, Hayes?
No, the only thing on my mind right now, I'm like, I don't know if DraftKings wants you to talk about it, but like, it's the first year in North Carolina we could gamble on college football.
Yes. Yes.
Right? I won't bring it. I'll give you an off podcast.
You're editing
topic.
yourself. All right. I like
am
that.
gonna run it
I
back.
like that. I like the under in the state game tonight. The number is 61.
Yes. I heard you talk about this the other night because the spread is too big.
Yeah, the spread's big. You could see a late touchdown potentially. I like the under.
But if you see it's in at 37,
the total 61. The spread is 33.5.
So anytime you see I'm not the math genius on this, but it's somewhere around. If you see a spread that is bigger than half the total, you got to like watch out for
right.
To your point, it's going to be tough for them to get that many points. No, that's the reason.
And they might even shut it down with what they have coming up next week and who they're going to play.
It's almost the reason I like Western to cover. The same reason you like the under. It's like it's going to be hard for State to cover 33 if they only score 30. They might win 35-3 or 40-14, and the under will hit and the spread won't cover. Like it would be tough. Here's what I'm trying to say. It is going to be tough for the under to hit and for State to cover.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's what the numbers are suggesting to you.
So yes.
So go check them out yourself again. They right now if you're a returning customer, they have those all North Carolina college football bets. That's 100% boost on any game involving one of our teams. Okay, that's pretty good. That's actually really, really good. So again, if you're new, you sign up OG24. If not, come on back to DraftKings. They are the official gambling partner of the OG.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
All right, let's get out of here on some Hey Joe. Hey Joe is brought to you today by Happy Inhale, our friends over at Happy Inhale. Download the app, Happy Plus Hail. That's going to get you not only a free smoothie once you sign up for the app, but also if it's within a month of your birthday, you get a free bowl. And they got a burger bowl right now that is just off the charts. The protein bowl is amazing. All of the chicken options are great as well. They have the poke tuna, unreal. Again, go check them out. North Hills and off of Six Forks and Strickland. So, and they're also in Durham as well. And at the arena once our season starts over there. So Happy and Hell bringing you Hey Joe today. Thanks again to our friends at Happy and Hell. All right. Hey Joe today will be all about the comments. So let's go back to the beginning when you had said that you felt like the Heels would be 8-4 kind of sort of no matter what. Gene, our friend Gene, longtime supporter of this program and a Carolina fan. 8-4, I wish, might be 4-8.
Isn't their schedule just awful though?
Their schedule is very, 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 very manageable, which is why says, they could be 12-0.
It looks real, and I say this complimentary. David Cutcliffe knew how to schedule Duke football, right?
Yes.
Like
schedule wins. Give yourself a chance to win games.
Reason to not win 4 non-conference games.
Yes.
And then try and go 500 in ACC. And if you go above 500 in ACC, you're a genius. And if you go 2-4 or 2-5 or whatever in ACC, you still might make a bowl game if you're playing Central, whatever. Like, who is UNC's non-conference? Mini,
Charlotte, A&T, and
is there a Liberty in there?
Yeah, no, nobody that good.
ECU's got Liberty.
Yes.
Mini, Charlotte, A&T. Yeah, go win those games.
Don't ask me hard questions. They play a 1AA team too. Of course.
So win those 4 and then go 4-4 in the ACC.
There you go.
And no, I can't tell you which ones are going to win or lose. But
from Paul, also a UNC fan, it is going to piss rain in Minneapolis. Prime hand the ball to Amari on weather. UNC definitely going to throw the ball 40 times. No, come on. I do like the rain. I do like the fewer possessions tonight. My play for that game is the under. That totals 51.5. I get it. You probably shouldn't take the under in any Carolina game with their defense under any circumstance. But, I mean, come on.
30-20 Heels.
That seems a little bit starchy. All right. So, Ken, The towel has appeared. Is Giglio fully rollbacked? I am. Yes, I saw Ken before. He is too. The towel is here. There was a comment. Let's see if I can pull it up.
I do want to know the story about how the is that a retriever? What do we got there? How did that become the logo of Roback?
That's their dog, the Roback, Rhodesian,
Oh,
whatever.
the Rhodesian Ridgeback.
There you go. They
Yeah,
combined it
yeah,
and
yeah.
shortened it and made it a.
I could have, if I'd thought like 2 seconds before talking, I probably could have come up with that. But that's how podcasts
Let's-
are. All right, can I jump into the actual interesting question in the comments?
Hold on. There was a comment from yesterday's podcast. Hayes had the towel when I talked to him at the Rialto last night. It just fits his whole style vibe so much that I didn't even think anything of it until you mentioned it. I think OVS was potentially giving you a hard time about the towel.
It's my vibe, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now you can choose your comment now. Tell me
question,
tell me which one it is, and I'll pop it on there.
how many losses for Mac to get fired this season? It's Jeff Henry. How many losses does it take for Bubba to fire Mac? And
I think the 2 in the first month would do it. James Madison is the.
before answer. So James Madison.
I've been saying this, that I feel like if that game goes the wrong way, it feels like when Bunning lost to South Florida. It feels like when Elfed lost to ECU.
Yeah.
But
But also,
it would be
how
like a
about-
crystallized moment that it's really over.
I realize that the schedules were probably set, but how about Mac being like, we're not playing App State again. It doesn't make sense for us. So let's go play James Madison, basically the App State of Virginia, right?
Yes.
Like, no, but I'm going to make a prediction to not answer Jeff's question directly. I think this is Mac's last season, regardless. You like that? I'm going to, if it goes well for Mac, great. Go out on top. I think he's out after this year.
He's claiming otherwise. I just don't think it's Mac's call. I think this is his one mulligan year. Last year, he should have been replaced at the end of last year.
Okay, agree.
Yeah.
But I think that he is going
But he has
to,
enough capital with the people who give the most money.
Yes.
That-
And I think Mac's been obviously, yes, it would have been better if you turn a 6-0 or 7-0 start into 10-2 instead of 6-4. Whatever. I'm getting the numbers wrong, but yes, there are times he could have capitalized better. But if you step back, what was Mac here to do?
Bring interest
the
back.
energy.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. No,
He did that.
He
He's been the-
qualified on all of those fronts
he's
for
been-
sure.
Do I have to take it political?
You can.
He's been what Biden wanted to be for Democrats, right?
Right.
Bring the energy back. So we're skipping back to the guy from the era.
Normalized.
But
Yeah, yeah.
and also like
The old guy.
But remember, like you're supposed to be the bridge candidate. You're not supposed to be here
Right.
for 10 years,
Right.
right? We're
Right.
not counting on you to do like 2 terms.
Yeah.
It feels like Mac, because he had NFL level quarterbacks, people are like, let's start the second term with Drake May. Like
Yeah.
if the second term is going to involve Drake May, I'm in for it. But it does feel a little bit like, it's easy to make a bet it'll be his last year because he's so old. Anytime you're 70, what is he?
I think he's 72 this year.
Anytime you're in the 70s,
Yeah.
the age factor allows you
Well,
to bet.
and you have that whole generation of coaches getting out because of NIL, and the
that
transfer
that
portal
100%
and everything
He
else.
sees his peers getting out. These Roy Williams, Nick Saban, whoever he
Yeah.
considers his peers. But and then if he has a better than expectations year, if he does take advantage of a soft schedule and wins 9 or 10 games and ends up in a better bowl game than he should be,
Yeah.
great, go out on top. If it doesn't work out well, if he goes 6-6, it's like maybe the game is, maybe you are a little old, maybe you don't want to put in the hours. But I'm saying Max last year,
Okay.
regardless of record.
From Trevor, I just cut this on and I was like, Joe Ovius is looking really different.
Okay, yes.
That would be you.
We're both bald,
And then from Joe Ovius,
right?
tell Hayes I'm always watching and listening.
I get that. I didn't even take any shots at Ovius, did I? Did the Baldwin, unless the Baldwin counts.
I don't
But I thought that
think
was
you did
self-deprecating.
this time. I feel like you were on your best behavior. That's going to do it for us today. I will be back tonight on an OG After Dark. We should talk about the Rialto sponsoring the OG After Dark or something. I mean, I don't know.
Wait, what? Are you, is this a business meeting? Are you trying to sell me right now?
I don't know where the buttons are.
Are you
I don't know where the buttons
Like, are you
are.
coming to the Rialto for After Dark? Are you just trying to get me to give you money to sponsor After
I
Dark?
don't know. We have an After Dark tonight, though. We got 2 big football games. State should roll, and we'll see what Carolina does. The big dog, Ross Martin, will be joining me. It'll be an internet exclusive.
Is he back?
He is. Yes, he
All
is. On our internet, on our YouTube page. You can catch that tonight. We will go live after the Carolina game, though, not after the State game. So you got a little bit of time. But I'm headed over to Carter Finley Stadium in about an hour and a half.
Get there.
I'm looking forward to it. That's Hayes Permar. Thank you for sitting in for Joe Ovius. He will be on his way to Hershey for Canes hockey very shortly.
You need a
Junior Canes.
You need a nickname for him. Is it like GM Joe or something?
Yeah,
Like
I can't wait to see the jacket.
Just like business meeting, like whenever it comes up, like all right, GM Joe,
It's
put on
time.
your GM hat.
It's time
He's
for
got to put on
Joe
like
Ovius,
a hat.
hockey dad.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love it.
And now Junior Canes GM. So safe travels to him, to Hershey. We'll be out at I'll be out at Carter Finley Stadium tonight. OG After Dark after the Carolina game tonight on the YouTubes. Appreciate you guys all for joining us. Come hit up the Swine for your tailgate for tonight. Enjoy. We will see you guys tonight on the OG After Dark.